big matchup we're all looking forward to watch. Number 1 and number 2 in the table, Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. OK, our lovely Anita Jones is going to be at the game tonight at the Emirates, and here's what she had to say as she spoke to some of the managers earlier on.
Thanks, Hannah. What a game we have on our hands tonight. I know loads of people were nostalgic about Chelsea, Barcelona and just what it means for football heritage when those two teams face each other, but you look at Barca's inconsistent start to the season, I'm not sure too many people will be surprised with that result. In terms of today, Arsenal against Bayern Munich. Now, I think that is very hard to predict. We all know both of them have 100% record in the Champions League. They both have a 6-point cushion over the second place team in their respective leagues. So this is finely poised, and the managers know this too. In terms of Vincent Kompany, he said it's going to be their most difficult task. But then again, you look at who they faced. They had a huge task in facing defending champions PSG last time out, and despite going down to 10 men, managed to get the job done. So you wonder how much of an advantage that would be. In terms of Arsenal, Mikel trying to manage expectations, I guess, and try and take some of the pressure off his players. He said that the likes of Bayern Munich and, of course, Real Madrid are in a completely different universe to Arsenal when it comes to Champions League football because, of course, Bayern have won, 6 Champions League trophies compared to Arsenal's 0. We know there's none of that in Arsenal's trophy cabinet. And I just look at the opponents that Arsenal have faced. You think the likes of Atleti, yeah, that was a tough one, but they've also had Slavia Prague, Olympiacos and Athletic Club. This is probably their biggest test to date, to put any of the naysayers to one side because, of course, this is Arsenal. They got to the Champions League last season. Can they go one step further? Anyway, I am going to be pitch side with Peter Schmeichel. I cannot wait for it. Like I said, there's so many storylines here, not least with having these two young managers who have worked together before, but also you think of the likes of Elise and Eze coming back together, the storyline of Kane going back to Arsenal. I believe he scored, 6 goals at the Emirates. So really, really looking forward to this one and catch up with you guys later. Thanks, Hannah.
Nico, like Anita said, it's a very hard game to call at the moment because Bayern Munich and Arsenal are both doing so well. Who do you favour? What are your thoughts on the match?
If I had to pick a team, I would say Bayern. If I was putting a bet, I'd hedge it Bayern to win or draw. Bayern not to lose. It is the toughest test that Arsenal are going to face, and a different type of test. I'm so intrigued to see what that tactical battle is going to be like. How much of the ball is Bayern going to have? How do they adapt to Arsenal? How do they deal with the set pieces? Because Bayern actually haven't been that great at defending set pieces, and Arsenal obviously are the standard there on the execution portion of it. So I'm looking forward to this one. But again, this is splitting hairs. Arsenal can totally win this game.
Jeff, do you think Harry Kane will be the biggest test Arsenal have faced all season so far?
No, I think they've got tests all over the pitch. I think they are that good a team, Bayern Munich. Look at Karl, you look at Elise. There is so much talent in this Bayern Munich team, and they play with the handbrake off. You know, they go for it. They absolutely go for it. So this is a huge, huge test of Arsenal's credentials, as Anita said just there. I think where you've got to be careful of a false narrative is, you know, the question marks around Arsenal. They're close, but no cigar under Mikel Arteta. This will tell us, this is a good benchmark of exactly where they're at right now. I think we know where Bayern Munich are. We're not sure where Arsenal are right now.
I'm not sure about that, though. Because Bayern don't often play this type of competition. I'm talking about the level of competition, not the Champions League. They don't often come. They've gone up against PSG.
I was going to say, they played PSG.
And they beat them.
Yeah.
It was a game in which they had to pull off survival mode for 45 minutes.
They still played them and still beat them.
And they won. How do you follow that up, right? Against Arsenal. And I feel like if they beat PSG, they beat Arsenal. I think we all have to agree that this is the best team in the world right now.
So there's a bit of history between these two sides, and it's been one-way traffic, right? Where Bayern have come to the Emirates and absolutely embarrassed Arsenal. I mean, there's score lines that prove it time and time again. There seems to be this shift in mentality between both clubs. and especially from an Arsenal standpoint, how have you seen Arsenal, and I guess what change do you see in Arsenal's mentality going into a match like this? Because I actually favor Arsenal to win this match. The Lucho Diaz absence is a massive, massive miss. But Arsenal, they're on another level right now.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Bayern Munich are another level. Yeah, that's the problem with it. It's look, I just think it is simply by a million miles, it's the tie of the round, because you've got the league leaders from both countries. They're both unbeaten in this competition. Arsenal haven't conceded in this competition, so this really is the big stuff.
I think it's the tie of the league phase.
Ooh. Wow, yeah.
Of all the matches that I'm looking
aren't
forward to, it's the two best teams. It might have been Barcelona, PSG,
Yes.
but that was a little bit of an underwhelming match just because not either of those teams were at full force, and it feels like Bayern doesn't slip up. Like, again, we've talked about the theme of the format of the league phase, but Bayern, I don't think, cares about that. Bayern wants to steamroll any opposition that they have in front of them, especially in the Champions League, where so many people say, Bundesliga is so easy, so prove yourself in the Champions League.
Who's got to do, of these two coaches, for you, who's got to do something different to beat the opposition, or do they just play the way that they play? Do you think Arsenal have to adapt because of the way Bayern Munich play? And will Bayern Munich play the way they normally do under Vinny?
I think Bayern has more facets to their game than Arsenal does. Just like Arsenal at their one facet is very, very good.
I think that's going to be tested. Full strength, I fully agree with that. I think that's going to be really tested today because Lucho Diaz, the absence I mentioned, is massive, but Bayern Munich have a star in the making in Lennart Karl. And whether he starts or not, he's the player I'm most excited to see. And you
ahead of
and
Elise,
JD.
Ahead of Elise.
Yeah. Michael Elise, I think is an amazing story.
I think they're both going to play.
You have him in the lineup. Like,
who else would you have in the lineup?
Yeah. Look,
You should go
I cannot.
Gnabry, Elise, Lennart Karl.
I cannot wait to see Lennart Karl play. I'm becoming a believer. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid about this kid because he has all the intangibles to be the next big thing, the next big generational talent in Germany. And they already have a generational talent in Jamal Musiala. And I look at a manager like Julian Nagelsmann. These are the sorts of matches that if you put trust in him, like Vincent Kompany is going to do, these are the sorts of matches that will make me a believer, and I think will make the rest of the world and German public a believer that he should go to the World Cup. He's got that audacity about him. He's got that swagger about him that the German national team need, and I think Bayern Munich fans have been craving for in the absence of Jamal Musiala.
Going back to this game, do we see, I mean, we were super excited about Chelsea-Barcelona last night, and we are equally about this game, but do we see the potential for such a slam dunk, an emphatic win like we saw last night from either side? Do you see either Bayern or Arsenal putting the other one to bed?
I'd be surprised.
I think it'd be tighter.
I'd be surprised if someone walks out of here winning 3-0.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be questions for either team if they lose 3-0. But at the end of the day, I think whoever walks out of this the winner will serve to embolden their narrative. And if you lose, it's kind of like, all right, let's get back on with it, get back on our horse, because they will get back on their horse.
It's far more damaging for Arsenal if they lose, because they face Chelsea next.
On the weekend.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.